Hello everyone, welcome to Redmen Radio, the Liverpool podcast. We're up to number 69.
Hey!
Yeah, just if anyone's ever concerned that we might be too highbrow on this podcast, no. Kick-off question this week, Chris, comes via Simon Lundgren Knudsen, who says, would you rather have Gary Neville as Liverpool's manager or Steven Gerrard as Man United's manager? I think this is actually a pretty easy
I thought it was dead easy. When I saw this question, picked it out, there was quite a few people going, what a great question, and it's a good question, but for me it's Steven Gerrard as Man United manager.
I could not have Gary Neville as Liverpool's manager. I don't care if he's the best manager in the world. I'm just there's a few reasons why I think Gerrard as Man United's manager. First of all, I think he'd put his career on the back burner for us, and I think he'd get them relegated or something like that, because he's a proper Scouser. And second, they fumed just from the fact that he was named their manager. That was probably enough for me. I was sold then. Yeah. And as you've already mentioned, no way in hell would I have Gary manager. Even if, and that's before I knew how bad a manager he was. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I must admit, there's a personal part of me that I think the quandary in this question comes from how much you like Steven Gerrard. And I really like Steven Gerrard, but I don't like him more than Liverpool.
So you're throwing him under the Man United bus?
Yeah, honestly, Steven Gerrard is getting launched under the Man United bus. I don't care. I love Steven Gerrard as a player, and he's a decent fella. I don't care about him that much that I would want to subject myself to Gary Neville as Liverpool's manager. So yeah, unlucky Steven. What would be really annoying though is if he was really good with them. That would be.
I don't think he'd need to be.
That would be dead annoying.
He'd do it just enough probably to not get sacked.
Yeah,
but not enough for them to win trophies.
The thing is, with Steven Gerrard is that I don't think he has that. He's possessing of that. He would probably, if he, it depends on whether he's a good manager or not. Because Gary Neville's been proven to not be a good manager, whereas Steven Gerrard is yet to be proven one way or the other.
He's had a 1-1 draw with Aberdeen.
He's had a big 1-1 draw with 10 men against Aberdeen. So there's definitely he's definitely.
I like the cut of his jib though when he was talking about the game afterwards. Like no nonsense, kind of reminded me a little bit of Kenny Dalglish.
He's got. You know what? He's definitely got a Kenny quality to him. I totally agree with that. I like the fact that he just looks the suit
comfortable
thing.
As well.
Yeah. He just looks smart. He looks respect. Yeah, I like it. Anyway, not at Rangers podcast, so frig him. This week we're going to be discussing.
Also, sorry, I hope everyone's happy with that opening question. We annoyed quite a few people last week with the opening question.
yeah, that was a bit. It was a touch on the nose last week.
We have since...
that was not where we made physical contact, by the way.
No. We have since decided exactly what the right answer to that question is.
To pick a different question.
No, me and Ross spent some time really delving into the issues at hand, and we're not going to do it here, but we may do it on the subscriber version.
Tweet at Mr. Blood Red if you want to know what the real winning answer is. Anyway, news in brief comes first. Then we're going to be discussing Liverpool were the unluckiest team in the Premier League last year, which was a fact, and whether this is our best chance of a title. And then we've got a few questions, and as we've done for the last few weeks, we've got a whole bunch of extra questions on the redmentv.com. So thanks very much for some incredible ones. We'll get through as many as we can, and the rest are going to be on the website. So, news in brief. Let's blitz through a couple of the early ones here because I'm just not interested. Simon Mignolet's been linked with Napoli and Besiktas. I could not. This is unfair, Chris, because I think Mignolet's been an absolutely fine servant for Liverpool. We've been comically dismissive of him at times, but that's all it is. I don't wish any ill harm to Mignolet. I don't want him to end up somewhere terrible. I want him to have a good move for him because he doesn't deserve anything less than that. But really, I'm struggling to find any concern for this. At all.
Just go, mate.
Just go.
And not because he's crap.
No, he's a good goalkeeper.
It's just because we've got Alisson, man.
That's
no other reason.
No, this is the thing.
We should get good money for him as well.
We should absolutely get good money for him.
And we can hold out for good money for him, and I would hold out for good money for him. I wouldn't sell him for £5 million, for example.
Yeah.
I think 15 million is actually probably where his bar is right now. All right, he's not played a full season last year. Yes, he was kind of bombed out the side, but really over the last sort of 3 seasons his level's been pretty good, and when you consider how much goalkeepers are going for
when you consider how inflated the goalkeeper market is, how disgracefully inflated the goalkeeper market is, Simon Mignolet is absolutely a 15 million plus goalkeeper, and he would almost be an international if Thibaut Courtois didn't exist, he would be an international goalkeeper.
He's not quite the backup sort of cheerleading goalkeeper that Pepe Reina was, though, is he?
He lacks that quality, doesn't he?
Personality,
Yeah. But the thing about Simon Mignolet is, and he's not the first person to fall foul of this, and he won't be the last. It's just stylistic. It's a style of play that is why he doesn't suit Liverpool. He is a Premier League quality goalkeeper.
Absolutely.
I'm amazed that not more have gone in for
He'd
them.
suit Everton down to the ground.
But Everton, yeah, all right. I get what you're trying to do. No, but there's plenty of teams that would be fine with the Simon Mignolet. Maybe it's just that thing. You've just seen Joe Hart move to Burnley. Maybe there's just I don't know. Could he do a Jersey Duda? Could he go and be a backup at another good club?
It's whether he wants to, though, isn't it? We're really rattling through these anyway, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Gruitch has turned down Cardiff in favour of Galatasaray. That one surprised me, though.
Fine.
I really
Squad
thought
number merry-go-round.
No, genuinely, that did surprise me. I thought, Premier League football, I thought he'd want a bit of that, like.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we'll see how true this is, of course. But yeah, maybe it's just that he made a good.
He's lived a Warnock life.
Well, he's lived the Warnock lifestyle. And he's just maybe someone's just gone, mate. Warnock is getting sacked in the first 3 months of the season, and then it's open season as to what happens with you. So and yeah, maybe he just wants to go and challenge himself. I really don't know. Yeah, it's a very strange one. He's defo someone. I think he's good. He's good, and time will tell where he ends up. Again, another one I just don't care that much. So this squad number merry-go round. There's loads of rumours that Liverpool are there could be 4 or 5 players changing squad numbers in this week leading up to the season, and a lot of this was sparked, as many things are these days, by a hashtag or the absence of a hashtag, which is up there with changing somewhat your bio on Instagram or Twitter, etc. Loris Karius didn't put LK1 on his squad picture.
Oh right, okay. I don't follow him.
No, nor I. Maybe I just don't care. But yeah, apparently Alisson obviously wants 1. Fabinho apparently wants 6, which would be a swap with Lovren, so Lovren would take 3, which don't.
That's a left back's number, isn't it, Paul? Isn't that a left back's number?
Whose number? So who's
5?
He's got 5, hasn't he?
Yeah.
That's making it so much more complicated than it needs to be.
See, 6 can be a midfielder, can be a centre halves number.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So Gini should take that because he's played both.
Yeah. Just
if you were to fix the squad numbers, go through the first 11.
First 11. Okay. 1, Alisson. 2, I keep Klein for now.
Okay.
3 would be Robertson. 4 would be Lovren. 5 would be Van Dijk. 6 would be Henderson or Fabinho if they want. 8 would be Keita. 7 would be whoever our attacking centre mid
James
option
Milner.
is. So yeah, James Milner, Adam Lallana, Jaden Jakiri, Nabil Fekir, insert who Oxlade-Chamberlain sound. Then the front 3 is fine.
Yeah, 9, 10, 11.
But realistically, you could swap 10 and 7 round, so you'd give 7 to Sadio Mane and you give 10 to your attacking mid option if you want to let it down, whereas Liverpool have got a grey area around those because of Kenny and John Barnes, which means it doesn't bother me as much. But yeah, Oxlade-Chamberlain might take the 19 vacated by Mane.
What was Ox last year?
21. Yeah, which I think was his number at Arsenal.
I don't pay attention to it.
Yeah,
I think it would do me head in if I did.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. Jose Mourinho said that Liverpool are buying everything and everybody.
This is not quite true, though, is it, Paul? This feels like fake news to me because we signed 3 players this summer, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And then obviously we signed Keita last summer. He didn't didn't actually come through the door until this year. So we've signed 4 players. Hardly constitutes 4 billion.
No,
which is anything and everybody.
No.
Also the fact that I think when you sign Lukaku and Pogba for more money combined, that we signed our 4 players, probably means the money side of things that he mentioned isn't quite as true as he'd like to believe.
Yeah.
The difficulty with him is he lives in a hotel, Paul. So he doesn't really have a concept of what real life is anymore.
No,
because you do kind of forget you know, you're not earthed if you live in a hotel, if you know what I mean.
No, does Jose Mourinho know how much a pint of milk costs?
No, he doesn't.
No, absolutely no chance. Absolutely no chance. Has he ever shopped in Primark?
No, he hasn't.
Absolutely not. Weirdo. Absolute weirdo. It's bollocks, this. And there was what was really funny about it, and this is one of those things we can see the tide turning. Because he's still doing the whole deflection thing. He's either...
It's good that he has to do it in pre-season, though.
Yeah, absolutely. He pushes attention onto other managers and other clubs, or he brings it onto himself. He always deflects it away from his team, which has been a strength of his, to be fair. But when it goes wrong, it always tends to go wrong spectacularly.
In the third season.
And you could see it happening at Chelsea second time around. With the Carnera stuff, whatever her name is, you can see it happening with that, where the media was all of a sudden they just weren't lapping it up in the same way, and he became a bit of a laughing stock. That's happening already. Well, you can see it with these like the comedy Twitter accounts who are putting out Liverpool's net spend since Mourinho come in compared to.
It's almost the change of the guard, isn't it? When Mourinho came into the league, he was different. He manipulated the media in a completely different way to probably the best manager at the time, which was Sir Alex Ferguson. But he came in and there was a freshness to him. Now there's almost a boredom to his games in the media. And, you know, you've seen people come into the league, Jurgen Klopp being the prime example of this, who can be honest and still get their message across and still do all the things that Mourinho does without making everyone who's sat in the room out to be a cunt, quite frankly, you know what I mean? That's what Mourinho does. And everyone's bored of it now, and everyone's seen that over and over and over again. He's not reinventing himself in any way, shape or form. He's not changing, he's not evolving. He's just becoming dead boring and a laughing stock, and that's great, quite frankly.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to talk a little bit about Man United and stuff a bit later on in the podcast, and how it relates to Liverpool, of course. But last bit of news in brief is that Leon Bailey admitted concrete interest from the Premier League. I think he was asked about, I'm told he was asked.
Oh yeah, he linked himself to both Liverpool and Chelsea, which is a new one on me. There's not many players out there that are linking themselves. How did this go?
Was he
he was in an interview with Kicker, and I don't know the exact wording of the question, but he said yes, there's been interest from the Premier League, a few clubs, Liverpool, Chelsea, and there was one more, but I don't think that club was from the Premier League. Because
it was weird, because when I read it, the Mirror reported it without him quote actually saying the words Liverpool, Roma, Chelsea. So I was like, I wondered whether, and I think Louis had said to me that maybe he was asked, I wonder whether he was asked specifically about those clubs, and then he responded, because all the quotes, it was like, oh my God, I've seen this before, when it's like, you can just throw any number of, oh yeah, there's concrete interest from the Premier League. Well, who has been linked from the Premier League? X, Y and Z. It's probably not as concrete as
He's probably not come out and said Liverpool and Chelsea have had concrete interest in me. Yeah, you're probably right on that.
Yeah, so again, people shouldn't get too excited about that. But what they should do is get onto the Reds transfer roundup this week. Steve Horse show is back with him with a vengeance, talking about all the transfer stuff and a few really interesting debate and discussion topics as well. That's going to be on the redmentv.com. I'm sure Leon Bailey will come up amongst other things as well. So let's dive into it then, Chris. First thing I want to discuss, there was an article that came out, and the BBC reporting, it's been picked up elsewhere since then, of course, that Liverpool were apparently the unluckiest team in the Premier League last year. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
Interesting stuff, because, and it's funny, I saw what I really enjoyed about it was Paul Tompkins' reaction, that it was a real vindication for him, because it was something that he'd been saying all year long, that Liverpool were well below the curve in terms of the amount of refereeing decisions, whether it's penalties, etc., that were going in our favour. And you know, we know this
or
means,
against us.
Yeah, this means absolutely nothing. You know, won't change anything, of course. But Liverpool were apparently 12 points worse off because of poor refereeing decisions, which I think is really, really interesting.
Yeah, it is. I think it put us on, was it about 87 points or something like that? I think we finished on 75.
In the table,
Man United lost 6 points on it as well. They were the luckiest side, and they only gained 6 points. But there was an 18-point swing there if you look at the two sides next to each other. I think as a Liverpool fan, you often feel like that, but then you come away from the game, you think, oh well, it evens itself out over the course of the season. Well, that's not actually true either, and it never could do. And listen, we could be the unluckiest side this season, because it might not even out, you know what I mean? It doesn't actually mean anything in the grand scheme of things, other than, you know, there is a part of how you build your team that needs to go on against referees, and I think it's something you talk about quite often, about this nastiness and what's probably the right way of saying it? Let's say a competitive edge to being able to get the referees to do what you want almost. And I think we have more players in our squad this season who are willing to do it, who are willing to step up. I think Henderson last season compared to the year before was much better, and he might improve again. Then you got the likes of Naby Keita, your Fabinhos and other lads who Mane was getting great at it, just going down for fouls and stuff like that.
No, he was getting better at deciding to. He was terrible at winning decisions in doing that.
Touché.
This is the man who really got sent off at Crystal Palace for handballing it because he did the whole, I'm down, no, it's a foul, I've stopped, I've got the ball. And they were like,
but then,
no.
You can see in big games at Anfield, the crowd has a big part to play, but equally that can work against you as well, because the referee will go in there knowing that Liverpool fans are baying for the decisions, and sometimes that makes you, if you're strong-willed and strong-minded, you'll be like, no, that's them, and it kind of glosses over it a little bit.
I think it's almost the other way to some extent. I think it's about the cauldron thing. I think works to your advantage. Referees are more influenced in that regard. I think when you've got a team and there's a flow of the game, referees get swept up in games sometimes, and you've got to make that. I think there was a degree a few times when, to be fair, a lot of this is like games that we got 12 draws in the league last season, and it wouldn't shock me if a lot of these points that they're talking about actually came from those.
But they'd kind of have to, because that's where you get the bigger swing.
Yeah, exactly.
Draws and losses.
And the thing is that a lot of those games were games that we maybe should have been putting to bed, or it was a combination actually, wasn't it? Because we drew some big games, some very, very big games, and you wonder whether there's referees not wanting to make big decisions in the big games, but also in the lower ones. Do referees want to be
picking on the little man almost?
Whereas I think there's a degree to which Liverpool's style of play, and we've seen this in pre-season, is that we are going to be thunderous against opposition regardless of who they are this season. And I think there's a degree to which when you've got that constant barrage, it's just wave after wave. Something you always refer to as how Man United played best under Ferguson was just that it was relentless.
You knew it was coming.
Exactly. Waves crashing on the dock, and eventually something's going to give, and that's either going to be, if you've got a build up in anticipation, a build up in atmosphere, and of course in the play as well. You can just psychologically you get in referees' heads, and there's just no choice for them to just go. You know what I mean? They make more snap judgments in that. So I think that's all part and parcel. And maybe I feels like we are. We won't know until we see it, of course, but I think we're better set up to capitalise.
I think the important thing to come out of it, and I'm not saying you do this, and I don't think anybody really does this, is you don't get too hung up on it, because the managers and the players won't be either. You can use it to fuel you mentally to go into a game or a season, because we've been outdone to there, look at that type of thing. But ultimately, Pep Guardiola, I'm sure they'd have won the league regardless. You know what I mean? Because they were so good. Yeah. So ultimately, those games that you're drawing, you can't be relying on the referee to change those games. You can only rely on yourselves to change those games, and Klopp will be saying that more than anything else.
Well, the point is not that Liverpool are not would. You could go back and replay them, and you're just not going to get 12. You're not going to get 12 points out of them. Is the point? But the thing is about. You help it to balance itself out by the way in which you approach football matches, and all it just takes is just Liverpool need to return to the baseline again.
It'd be interesting. It would be interesting to see the 13-14 one of them, and see it, because we were buying penalties, but I never thought we were buying them, but we were just getting loads of penalties and stuff. And that was about what you're talking about, the way you play, the way we played in in the area of other teams, just meant that they had to go in for a challenge, otherwise we were going to score anyway. And there is a style of play thing to winning penalties, and Liverpool, look, even in pre-season, we've got that back a little bit.
We've seen the speed at which we play, and that's so much of it, isn't it? It's that the problem is, of course, is that what you don't really want is penalties, winning your games in the last 5 minutes in penalties. I think that's where Liverpool have maybe fallen foul. I think there will be more you'll be more likely for referees. And look, again, I'm probably doing a bit of a disservice to the mental fragility of referees here, but when you're playing a Swansea at home or Swansea away, as an example, and someone goes down with a minute left to go, I do wonder whether referees are like, well, look, these have hung on for all this time, it's a bit unfair to give it to them, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
I think there is that.
Whereas I think there's an inevitability to, if it happens in the 30th minute or it happens in the 60th minute, well, it's a click. Or that's the way the game is going.
Well, you're exactly right, because as you say, the referees fall into the game, though. They become part of it and they want the game to be the game. And I think it's exactly the same at the end of the game, which is what you just mentioned, as the beginning of the game. I think a referee doesn't want to change the course of a game 2 minutes into the game and it be a certain way for that. So yeah, I think that's absolutely a good point.
And one of the points as well that is raised by this, it's not all just on pens and stuff. It's things like deflections, and Liverpool just had we conceded so many freakish goals last year,
and the year before,
We said this last week. I think it's become the stock Liverpool goal is just to come off someone's arse and randomly drop onto the toe. So I'm pretty sure that was what the mentioned in Swansea. That was how Swansea got the lead. Got the lead at the Liberty last season. So yeah, a bit more like that. And some of that is just being a bit more switched on. And I think again, this comes from that right mental attitude. If you've got a hunger and you are out to win every ball, you have to kick everyone, you have to do this and that, you are more likely just to be first to stuff. So hopefully that should definitely help us this season moving forward. Right, we're going to talk about the Liverpool's title chances in a moment, but before we do, everyone will know this by now, and I've been asked this question by so many people in person and on Twitter, etc., and in comments. When's the Jurgen Klopp interview coming out? It's coming out this week.
What day, Paul?
Thursday.
What time, Paul?
TBC. But yeah, I was lucky enough to sit down with Jurgen Klopp. It was a fantastic interview. I know a few people have got him, but nothing quite in the same way that we got him. So if you want to get that, we're going to be putting a segment of that out on YouTube, but the line share will be going.
What did you do differently? Straight jacket or something?
Just we're busies, Chris. We just relaxed loads more.
See you later. 17 fucking 18, just 19 years I've had to fucking put up with you.
Well, I've got a space.
And you sacked me off for a big 6'3" German.
Well, I've got a space in my life for a gobby blonde, a gobby glasses wearing blonde. That's all it is. Like,
I'm now comparable with Klopp. You've made this much better.
Absolutely.
I'm still second best. But.
Amazing. So Liverpool's title chances, Chris.
Yeah. I am sweating so much in this room, mate.
I am going into this season. I mean, look, I think we've had a few fallow years where I think Brendan Rodgers kind of did this. Well, Roy Hodgson did this, to be fair, but we had our expectations low.
What does fallow mean?
It basically means it's those years, isn't it, where effectively you're not expecting big results. You're not expecting to be able to be competitive. You're not expecting to win the league fundamentally in this regard. We've always said we're going to win the league. Even those years when we weren't great, I always felt that we could because the magic of football, etc., etc. But I can honestly say, I thought Liverpool might make it. It was an outside chance last season. We might have been able to do something, but all along I was saying fourth was our strong objective, and I was very happy with us to finish fourth in the league. I'm going into this season, and so many people have asked me about it. I'm not going to sit here and say Liverpool are going to win the league, because that'd be madness. But for me personally, this is the best chance Liverpool have had of winning a league title at this time of the season that I can remember since probably, people will mention 13-14, but I don't think
didn't feel like it.
No, not at all.
Not at the start of the season. Nothing's felt like this.
Probably 2008, 2009.
Did we finish third the year before in that one?
I think so. I think we, if I'm right,
fourth, third, second,
fifth, fourth, third. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure I really believed at the start of that season that we were title challengers either. I think we had a good squad, and I knew we had a good manager, and I knew we were on an upward trajectory, but not quite in the same way as this for some reason. Now, obviously, I spend a lot more time thinking about Liverpool now, and so it's become all-encompassing, this feeling around me, and maybe that's why I've noticed it more. But we did a live show the other day. You've heard me say it 3 or 4 times. It's not hope this season of number 19. It's not a dream. Mm-hmm. There's a belief that we can go and do this now, and that comes from every facet of the football club, and that's the difference for me. Is I've never felt like everybody is all in on Liverpool can win the league this year before. There's been a few optimistic fellas who've thought you can win the league, and there's been a few pessimists who think the squad's shit.
Yeah.
it feels like everybody thinks the squad's boss and we can win the league if everything goes right.
Yeah, I look at the 08-09 and I thought I had that was the season when I put like £1 every week on Liverpool to win the title.
I didn't realise it was that year. I remember you doing that.
Yeah, because that was off the back of Spain won the Euros, and the money I won on that I put on Liverpool to win the title, and then and so on, because I was convinced, because it was everything. It was the great kit, it was the boss team that we had, etc., etc. But it was that thing of, I look at it now, and the fact is, look, we'd been to 2 European Cup finals by that point, of course, but we'd done it in a bit of a ragtag kind of way. I've really felt, and we said this in the build-up to this year's Champions League final, I really felt Liverpool, truly belonged in that final this time around. And all we've done is we've taken that side. The deficiencies in this Liverpool squad were not so glaring than they've been in other ways. And I think in 08-09, and we'll need this, a caveat by we'll need a bit of this season too. But after like 5 games of us, we won so many. We got so many late winners at the start of that season. We just won games that we in previous seasons we've been drawing. If we start to see those signs, I think absolutely it's 100%. It's on. But right here and right now, again, I look at us and look at what we've got capable. I think that side, we could have kept exactly the same squad, I think, and probably been closer to the title this year, and probably have considered ourselves to be in with a title shout if we'd only just bought 1 or 2. Even if we'd not bought Alisson, I probably would have thought we were in for a title challenge this season. But we've gone, and in the last half a year, since the turn of the year, we've strengthened goalkeeper, defence, midfield, and we've bolstered the attacking options.
And then you've got the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold, because even in January, it's not the same Trent as finished the season for us, is it? You know what I mean? He's had that sort of... He's had a European Cup run himself at 19 years old, and you've seen the emergence of Robertson in that time as well. I think he only came into the side really December, January times.
Staying on Trent, he was in rotation for right back in January.
Yeah. And now he's the right back.
Liverpool's best right back.
And Robertson's exactly the same. Moreno goes down with an injury, gets into the side, and he just gets better and better and better and better. We had the conversations around Palace that early on in the year that he might not be as good as we thought or we'd hoped. He was fucking 10 times better than anything I thought or hoped that he was going to be like.
And in addition to that, so you're right in saying that, we've got a young squad. I remember in 13-14 saying that the big benefit to coming so close and falling short was the young players will learn from that experience. But the problem is you still needed world-class players to help carry the main burden of all that, and that's where we fell foul this time around. Whereas we've still got all those world-class players. They're still that level. There's a good chance that it wouldn't shock me to see Mane get 25 goals this season, for example. It's not outside the realms of possibility that Firmino could get to 30. It would be shocking, like in the best possible way, if Salah matched what he did last year, of course. But
I think he's upwards of 30 this season, maybe high 30s, but 44 seems like a lot.
Yeah, he doesn't look like, again, from what I've seen of him, he doesn't look like, when a player just hits a hot patch and that
goal against Napoli.
No, exactly.
That's not he's just, I'm going to kick this ball into that top corner and no one's going to stop me.
Effortless, yeah, absolutely.
It's amazing,
and
that's not going to stop. And he's going to continue to get into those positions. And importantly, the one thing you've not mentioned yet is the spine of the side. We've not had a spine of a side quite like this, not the whole way through the team.
Yeah.
That's incredible what we've got now, and it feels like the spine it's not just 4 players. It feels like it doesn't fit with the analogy of a spine, but it feels like there's 6 or 7 lads there who are absolutely crucial to what we do.
Well, this is the thing. You talk about the spine and you say, okay, Alisson, Van Dijk, Henderson, Keita, Fabinho. There's your Firmino. There's your spine.
It's not even our best 2 players in there.
And then, but then that's it. And that's when you then start to have the conversation saying, you plug in Mo Salah onto that side, you plug in Mane onto that side, you plug it in, whoever you want to talk about, whether it's Wijnaldum or whatever, bolster and still doing the midfield.
Milner, Trent.
You're talking about the full-backs in addition to that. And that's when you start to realise that is a squad that can match anything in football. And what we've actually not mentioned in addition to that, which is I think is one of the other real encouraging things, is like we can look now to our under-23s and say, in Curtis Jones, Rafa Camacho, Nat Phillips, maybe even, you know, if you wanted to talk about Grabara or Kelleher, Kelleher.
Queen.
Yeah, whatever. There's a bunch of lads there and we haven't had this for quite the same for a few years where you go, they're actually ready. Because like prior to that, we were looking at Woodburn and we were looking at Trent and we were saying, well, I like them, but they looked far too young. They didn't look ready for first team football and they've had to grow into that. Whereas I'd be totally sound. If someone said we were having a mad injury crisis and we had to play one of those lads, I'd be so excited to see. I wouldn't be going, oh, well, we'll kind of see how it goes. I'd be like, yes, Rafa Camacho. Do us a favour and just start skinning people down the wing from right back. You know what I mean? And that's where it feels like at every level we are the best prepared we've been.
Absolutely. And then, you know, people say a lot about Dejan Lovren, but he's part of your spine as well, I think. And then you got Joe Gomez at age 21, 22 maybe, who is about to probably have his best season for us as well. Hopefully at centre-half, the backups for each of these positions, the rotation options that we've got at centre midfield, and a resurgent Daniel Sturridge. Yeah. Again, this is the best squad, the best spine, the best players, the best manager we've had in the Premier League.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's really interesting is just having a casual glance, because so much of this stuff kind of filters into your news feed of how opposition fans are reacting to their own various pre-seasons. And this is the thing, I've not sought any of this out, but you do. It does catch your eye, and I see Spurs fans joking about, like, you know, getting the panic rooms ready because they have
this every year though, and this is the difference between, I think, Spurs viewed from the outside and Spurs viewed from the inside as an actual fan. Is I can tell you every single year they don't sign that many players and their side always gets better and stronger, and they always finish one of the top sides in the league, because he's a great coach, Pochettino. And he'd actually, we've got a question later on, he's not a manager that I considered for it. He's a brilliant manager, but I don't think he quite has the full backing of the club yet, because I think not having won a trophy ever is, you know what I mean,
I'm
halting that slightly.
I'm not sure there's a manager that they would fully back. I just think
maybe
that's
it.
Really
Yeah,
hard, isn't it? Unfortunately, they're very precariously balanced with everything they're doing.
But I think there'll be a small section of Spurs fans who will be happy and confident in their season, but I think the vast majority will be like, fucking hell, look what Liverpool are doing.
There's a base football logic, isn't there? That, you know, you look at them and there's no reason to suggest that Spurs are not better equipped to do the business this season, because, well, the players, half the squad's goosed from the World Cup, and they've just not brought anyone in to bolster it, and they've fallen short for every season, you know, that they've tried. So yeah, there are one or two getting panic, and maybe, you know, it will be exacerbated by the transfer window thing. And you wouldn't be shocked to see them go in the next couple of days.
What they need to do is they need to go and sign a very non-Spurs signing, like a top draw, something or other, because that's what they've never really done. And I think it's something that Liverpool are only just getting their head around now. If they want to be title challengers and genuine title challengers under this City sort of City's time in the Premier League, they need to go and do that, and until they do that, I don't think they're going to win a title.
It makes you wonder whether they're just holding fire till everyone else is done, so they don't end up in bidding wars or something. You know, the thing is, you start to create these stories around stuff. It might just be that case. You know, they've spent big money on securing Harry Kane's contract. They're probably going to do some bits and pieces of that. But here's the thing. Pochettino, you know, he's clearly not happy with the way that's been running. You know, he came out, didn't he, at the end of the season and talked about how, you know, it was basically time to back him and time to back the squad, etc., etc. So it's going to be fascinating to see what happens in that regard, because I think there's a bit of upheaval up and all around the place at the moment, and all it spells out is that the big one's always going to be Manchester City. The most stable, the most money. They've now got the experience. All that squad's got the experience of doing it as well.
But they haven't got the experience of winning it in a title race yet. Not that squad.
Yeah.
They've had it in a previous squad, and I think that's where Liverpool can come into it this year. Is you don't know how they're going to react under the pressures of they've won. Now we have to go back to the top of the league, and that's what I'm hoping on. Whereas I think you can play with almost a freedom, and Chelsea won the league in the same way. You know, when they stole a march on everyone before December the year before last or whatever. That's the thing. And listen, both of us sat here a year and a half ago probably and said, you might just have to sit on your hands until until Pep Guardiola leaves Manchester City, and you still might have to, because if they win 100 points again, I don't think Liverpool can win the league this season.
Yeah, that's true.
But if it's 90 to 95, I think we can.
Yeah, that's it. And then you look at the other ones, you know, it's impossible. It's so hard to judge Arsenal. You know, because part of me was to say Arsenal or Chelsea could be real dark horses here, and this next few days between now and the transfer window shutting, because look, we all know we can sell players. You know, there's going to be conversation about players going out, so we're going to have plenty of stuff to talk about until, you know, September. But in terms of bringing people in, you know, they're just not making those. They're not making the positive moves that you can see, and they also can't relax at the same time, because it's all well and good getting to Friday. Well, what if Real Madrid come in with a 150 million bids for Hazard, and you know, then you're left with your star player all of a sudden once again completely on his arse.
Maybe Hazard goes out with a back injury and goes in January. It's a difficult situation to be in, isn't it?
That'd be amazing if that happened. But these teams have got Europa League. This is not Chelsea. Exactly, but this is not Chelsea with no European football again.
Yeah.
And this is not Arsenal with no European football. Yeah. This is them with the rigours of it. And you know, Arsenal did it right, and most these teams have got good enough squads that they'll do it the same way we did it. They'll field second strings largely in the group stages. Doesn't matter, it's still preparation, it's still time where your managers can't be on the training ground training first team because he's over in the back end of Eastern Europe, freezing his tits off on a plastic pitch, you know. So yeah,
the Arsenal one's interesting for me. I mean, I must admit, I looked at their signings, I thought that these lads are a little bit old. I wonder whether they're going to settle in quickly to the Premier League. Now, I think Arsenal are in a better position than Chelsea are. I think, you know, I think the manager's had much longer to work with his squad first and foremost. He's been able to identify his targets from much earlier on, because I'm pretty much certain that he'd have known 3, 4, 5 months ago that he'd be going to Arsenal Football Club. Whereas Sarri and the Chelsea stuff, and it's the ownership it comes down to as well. You know, the rumours of Abramovich wanting to feck off and all that type of stuff. I feel Arsenal are going to be better, but I don't think they're going to be in our league.
I think that the thing about the Chelsea stuff, and Sarri said it himself, is that he's not looking to come in and totally rip up the game plan and bring his way of doing it. He's coming in and he's going to make a version of it work with what he's got
until his 4-3-3 is ready, which is what Conte did, in fairness.
That's it, like,
until his three at the back was ready.
Yeah, so you know, it'd be interesting to see whether again will he get the time to actually do this, because we know how fickle their ownership is, of course, and they've tried this whole 3-year plan thing with Chelsea managers, and it never seems to get. They never have the patience for it. But you know,
the fans don't seem to have any patience either. You know, you saw them yesterday going on about Morata. I mean, I realise that Giroud's probably not back in training yet. I think he's a good player. I'd have taken Giroud at Liverpool. He doesn't quite fit the style of play, but as someone to bring off the bench, my word, what a talented footballer. But the Morata stuff is like, if they can't get him scoring goals, then you've got a 20-goal a season man, and you're not going to win the league with a 20-goal a season man. You're going to win the league with a 30-goal a season man nowadays, because everybody else has got them. Yeah. And that means even if Giroud plays to the best of his ability, they won't be good enough.
Yeah, and you know, and listen to all this, of course, we just don't know. We just don't know with Man United. Man United should be a 3-way race, I think, between City, United, and us, because again, experience, money, all that kind of stuff, and just, you know, in terms of the progression of where these sides
wouldn't it be great if, because I think Man United can do this, the way that they had our number last season, you know, their style of play, the way that they play against us, that frigging bringing Fellaini on late on. Mourinho's always been able to take points off the top teams. Wouldn't it be great if his style of football opened up the league for Liverpool? Because he was the one taking points off Manchester City, and that closed the gap. Yeah. I think that would be fantastic. You know what? I'd roll the red carpet out for him.
Yeah, the thing is, they're teetering on the brink, aren't they, to some extent, is that their season can only go 2 ways. I just don't think there's any room for grey areas at United at the moment. I think it's either going to be a barnstorming season, or it's going to totally combust, and their fans' heads are going to be all over the place. And the thing as well...
Did you see the rumours about Pogba to Barcelona?
No.
They is this a true thing? This Barcelona actually placed an offer for Pogba, 50 million plus Mina and Gomez, was it? And Man United straight up said no. And then has his agent come out and said that he wouldn't mind a little look at that or something?
I haven't seen that bit, no.
I mean, what a great thing to have right before the season starts.
Yeah, well, we were getting told I was getting told through various people early on in the year that, you know, it was likely to be Pogba or Mourinho this summer. There was going to be a decision made, and one of them was likely to leave because they don't like working together effectively. So that's it. Yeah, you know, having this kind of thing ongoing at the club these are the things that are boiling under the surface at United. And here's the thing as well, is that the culture they've got for their fans, the culture that they've got around fan channels and all that kind of stuff, and you know the way they discuss them in the public eye. There's a lot of people primed to capitalise on them being losing their heads, yeah, you know, which is mad and a real shame in some regards. Not that I could ever feel that towards Man United or people from, you know, the red side of Manchester.
Go back to the top. You just don't care, do you?
No, I just don't care. But that's the thing, is people are waiting with the knife. They're waiting with the table set, the knives and forks are out, the napkins are tied, and they're just waiting for something to chow down on, some misery and some meltdowns to chow down on from Man United.
Hit that stream now button.
Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what goes on there, of course. We've got a couple of questions before we round up, and as I say, we're going to do an absolute ton more of these over on the website as well. And we've been doing this for a few weeks now, so if you want to get into some of the back catalogue, please, by all means, do. So, first question, Jonathan Cook, long-time viewer, Jonathan Cook says, each pick your best 11 for this season, but draft style, one at a time, so you don't get to choose the same players. Doesn't matter which position you both start. Once a player in either team, they're gone. Who wins?
Okay.
I've not put any pre-thoughts
I'm
into
taking
this.
Salah.
Well, who says you're going first?
You asked the question.
Sad. Okay, cool. I will take Alisson.
Okay, I'm going to take Firmino.
Cool. I'll have Mane.
I'll take Virgil.
Cool. I'll have Keita.
I'll take Lovren.
Ooh, okay. I will take Sturridge.
I will take... Are they all fit? Because I'm not spending a draft on Oxlade-Chamberlain, but he's out for the year, you know what I mean? Just as a bit of a cheerleader.
I'll let the audience decide.
I'll take Shaqiri.
Okay, sad. I'll have Robertson.
I'll take Hendo.
Okay. Trent.
Lallana.
Okay. Ox. Have you got are you working from a list?
Yeah, I got a draft list.
Okay, so.
Got a draft board, mate. This is how you do this. It's why I haven't... Yeah, right. You've taken Milner, haven't you? You've taken Robbo. You've taken Trent. I've taken Lallana. You've taken Sturridge. I'm going to take Genie.
Okay. I will therefore take fucking Gomez.
I'll take Mourinho. No, Klein.
Okay. How many fucking players have we got?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You've taken 9.
No, I mean how many players have Liverpool?
But there's like at least 10 or 12 players left that we've not loaned out. Do you want me to tell you some of them?
No, he's telling me all of them.
Ragnar, Nat Phillips, Matip, Grujic, Curtis Jones, Markovic, Ojo, Camacho, Crivea, Brewster, Origi, Ings, Solanke.
I will take Jones.
I'll take Moreno.
And I will take Clavan.
I'll take Karius.
Cool. That it?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You may as well take a 12.
I don't want a 12. I've got 11.
We're doing the squad.
And we're doing.
Let's just do the
pick
squad.
your best 11 for the season. So you get rid of your last one.
Oh no, I'll get rid of Genie then.
No, you've done your 11 picks.
No, I'll get rid of Genie.
Because you picked your goalkeeper as your 12th.
Yeah, I thought we were doing the squad.
Why would you think we're doing the squad? It says pick your best 11 for the season.
Okay, well, I've picked 12 players, which you let me pick, and I'm going to pick 11 of them. Genie's not in it. Next.
Sad. So Chris has got no goalkeeper.
Chris's sad still better.
Who would you play in goal? Who would you play in goal if you've got no carries?
Ooh, maybe Fabinho, something like that. I think he's a big lad, like, and to be fair, not and you know, probably better than Karius.
So I've got Alisson in goal, a back four of Trent, Gomez, Clavan and Robbo, midfield four of Milner, Oxlade, Chamberlain, Keita and Jones, and then Mane and Sturridge up front.
So I've got Karius,
Fabinho.
No, Karius, Klein, Van Dijk, Lovren, Moreno, Fabinho, Hendo, Lallana, Salah, Firmino, Shaqiri. It was a beautiful side, that wasn't it?
It's a pretty good side. Let people decide in the comments then which was the best, and whether do we allow Chris, having not picked the goalkeeper in his 11, to allow us 11. You always take these so seriously.
Yeah, of course. You got to take everything seriously, Paul.
So, okay, brilliant. Leave your if you want to do this with friends, by all means, let's see how you get on with that, and let us know in the comments as well. Okay, Swift. If your missus got preggers again, and said that this time, if it's a boy, you can name him after any famous footballer. Which name would you give your newborn son, and why?
Alessandro.
Okay, I was going to go with just Zizou. One name, no more. Yeah,
I like it.
Del Piero?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, okay, I can live with that. Right, final question before we wrap up then. Rossi LFC, who's going to be on free kicks and penalties this season?
I didn't really think about this one, but I think penalties, you give it to Mane.
Mane, if he wants it, and he's been fine so far.
He's just got to prove he can not put it bottom left as you're looking at it, because that's the only place he's hit them. Okay. As soon as I know he can do other corners of the goal, I'm all in on Sadio Mane.
Yeah.
And free kicks, I really want to see split it. So I think Trent's going to take more and more free kicks, because I think he can do that. We saw that against Hoffenheim last season. I want to see a 40-yarder Van Dijk free kick this season. Yeah. That's what I really want to see that. And if it's right side of the penalty box, I want Salah to just keep hitting it into that top corner.
My thing is, because we saw a little bit of a battle for it, didn't we, in the Napoli game between Van Dijk, Trent and Shaqiri. I'm happy for. I think you need to have a left-footed free kick taker. It would be great for some, because I'm just, until Salah proves that he can actually do it, just let him continue to do the goals that he does. I like Trent as the option for it, but equally there would be something to Jurgen Shaqiri having that in his locker, and I think something absolutely essential to having someone like him who could predominantly be coming off the bench as part of his game-changing arsenal. So I don't think he will take them week in, week out, because I'm not sure he'll play week in, week out. But if he's got that in his locker and he had to, I'd be made up with something like that. But quick answer is Trent and Mane, I reckon. Brilliant. We've got loads of questions, including who would be on our 3-man shortlist to replace Jurgen Klopp should he decide to go and run his contract down and get off elsewhere. What would happen if a strangely obsessed football wizard says we cannot, a player who's not injured all season, coming from our good friend Steve Hoare? And what would happen if Liverpool's squad were turned into animals overnight? I've got some belter answers for this. And do you know what I did? I wrote them all down, but I just did the first thing that they reminded me of in the Animal Kingdom. The absolute best way. I think we did this with sweets last year, and it was great. And this is the kind of thing as well. So yeah, great. If you want more of that, go to the redmentv.com, sign up, start your 3-month trial. Not just this, as I say, the full Jurgen Klopp interview is going to be out this week. We've got loads of extra bits and pieces that we've picked up on our travels as well. And we're going to be counting down to the brand new Premier League season. And we're going to be here throughout the year as well with amazing stuff, final words, tactical analyses. I can't wait to get back into them. Yeah. I've missed them. Absolute belter. So yeah, thanks very much for watching or for listening, and of course if you've done it already, for subscribing as well. Welcome.